Well, good bloody morning. Right, so after the absolute horror show that was the last episode, I have been advised that gear oil will cause seals to swell, and I've really got to rebuild the whole bloody thing. So I do have a new clutch master and slave. I'll get those on today. I've ordered from Kelsport new master cylinder seals and full seal kit for all of the brake calipers, so that will be a project for another episode. Bought 5 litres of brake fluid to flush it through with. So yeah, that's the task for today. There's going to be no nodis action because I still haven't had my wires delivered, even though I ordered them on Monday. So that's going to be a job for another day. So today's going to be the clutch, and then just general odd jobs, tidying the wiring. I may get this put back together, just make it look a bit more complete. Do some testing behind the dashboard, see if we can get that looking a little bit neater and nicer. And yeah, that's it. So I'm going to be careful. I'm going to go slowly. I'm not going to rush. Just get things done once and get them done properly. So first job is the car needs to be a damn sight higher than that so I can comfortably get the job done. So I'm going to get the jack out. And check this out. I'm in shorts. Woohoo! So what have I got here? 2 circlip pliers, 1 external, 1 internal, and 5 litres of dot 4. That little lot was 50 quid, including my trade discount from Halford. So I need the pliers to get the circlips off, which are just there. Spring comes off by hand, that's nice and easy. And then we'll drop the this slave cylinder down, but we'll bleed it through first. I imagine something here will need undoing as well. We'll bleed it through first. We'll probably bleed it to empty, fill it up with dot 4, bleed it again to try and get all of the gear oil out of the lines, and then we'll put a new slave and master on, and hopefully we'll have a clutch by the end of the day. So what's the time now? It's about 11:30. Hopefully I'll have this done in under 2 hours. Anyway, I'll see if I can get the camera set up here, but it might be a bit tricky because I'm under the car. Alright, so there's the tube on. Go to the power bleeder. Turn it on, it will get quite noisy, but I'll turn the volume down. You see it dragging through all the fluid. Okay. Come around here. See, it's emptied. It's emptied that. So I have some old dot 4 left over. Let's fill it up. Just let it suck through a few times. See, there's still a few traces of what I'd call gear oil in there. There we go. Give it a clean out. And while I'm not bothered about the master cylinder being too clean because it's about to go in the bin, I want the lines to be clean because that's the important bit. I sped this bit up. Basically the compressor ran out of air, so it stopped sucking, but turned it off for a bit, recharged, and we're good to go. Right, and we're back. I've just heard the compressor click off, so I'm going to give it another go. And there we go. We were just running out of air. So this should now be powering down to being empty, which we can see. Gargle, gargle, gargle. That's all gone. Now, come back here. One of the not many recorded benefits of having a Lotus twin cam, situations like this, we've got this is the clutch pipe, which is just easier to do at this union. But is it rusty? No, of course not. It's lubricated by the twink every single day of its life. Everything comes apart. It's lovely. Here's an excellent demonstration of why I hate cars. All undone, just ready to slide off. I'll get some focus. Negative Ghost Rider. Manifold's in the way. Oh, yes. That is the only way it's coming off. I don't think I've still got a good 1.5 inches worth of bracket to get through. It's try taking that pipe off and seeing if it will go, but I don't hold out much hope. Had a visitor to come pick up the stricken Range Rover in a rather cool 68 Bedford flatbed. So we haven't got a steering wheel in this, but I'm sure we'll get it loaded somehow. That's a bit of kit. What a lovely truck. I'm really quite envious of that. Glorious. And the little Kubota pushed up that Range Rover. Struggled a bit on the gravel, but it got it up. So good job all round, team. Now back to this fucking elan. Alright, so where did we get to, campers? We've got the pipe very nearly off. And then the gentleman, lovely chap by the way, I'm going to see if this will come off. If not, the manifold's coming off. Yeah. Well, the Lotus gods are shining down on me today. Look what just came out. Beautiful. Right. See if it matches up with the new one. Get it fitted. Well, it's the same parts, but this is a genuine girling one. And this one just isn't quite as nice. Nearly as nice, but not quite as nice. But it's identical in terms of its dimensions. Some of the, if these were pistons, they'd be called ringlands. I don't know what they're called on slave cylinders, but they're not quite as nice. But let's get the fucker. Oh, I'll stop swearing. People do tell me off that. We'll get this little Jeffrey fitted, see how it goes. In the spirit of being a new, more conscientious home mechanic, I have popped this push rod for the clutch fork in the vise and given it a clean up with some Scotch Brite, and put a thin sliver of grease on it, because that's just where the boot goes over, so it won't make a huge difference. But doing jobs slowly, doing jobs properly, doing them to the best of my ability. That's the new way. Right, and there we are. I haven't put the spring on. There we go. Now with the spring on, there we are, ladies and gents, or as Google tells me, gents. Just got to put the bleed nipple in and then bleed it up, and that is the new slave cylinder fitted. So yeah, let's go and put the master cylinder on. Alright, and so to the front. This seems like a decent, there we go. She did come off. Decent time to show, well, not to show off, but to use my new tripod, which has like got, if you imagine, 3 very thin, flexible dildos sticking out the back of it, and it's a lot easier to mount in strange places on a car. So yeah, I'm turning into a proper pro now. Well, I upgraded from blue tack to a cheap Amazon tripod to another cheap Amazon tripod. But I'll probably time lapse this, because if you're watching this, you know how to undo bolts. And here you can see the old trick of wedging a spanner in against the bodywork while I go inside the car and undo the nut, or undo the bolt from the inside. So yeah, a two-man job turned into a one-man job.
So yeah, this is the situation underneath here. There's things like this I need to investigate what the hell that's for. It's never been connected in my ownership. There's a speedo cable just hanging out. We've got the steering column bushing, and then that disappears through there. The brake, as you can see, on a bar, and it operates that far one, and it's nice and firm considering it's full of gear oil. And the clutch is here. You see we've got I call these cotter pins, but I think that might be an Americanism, and us Brits call them split pins. I've also picked up the term channel locks instead of mole grips. I don't know quite how I've got those. Maybe it's watching too much American YouTube. By the way, favourite channels are Ronald Finger and Fuzzy Dice. I really like those two guys. They do what I do, but to a much better standard, and they film it a lot better too. I'd especially recommend Ronald Finger's Fiero project and his Suzuki GPX, Kawasaki GPX, sorry, great. And Fuzzy Dice has done some great things with his, what is it, a Chevrolet Silverado or something. It's just good stuff, good honest stuff. But I'm going to get this out and then we will change this over. Right, split pin out, and this should just release. Look at that. Yeah, that was much easier than a slave cylinder. Right, I'll get this changed, and I wonder if I've got to change the fork over. That's the sort of Lotus-y thing that would need to happen. So I'll go and dig it out from the spares box. Right, and as expected, we needed to swap the arms out, the rod over. So this is the old one, fork, and then the threaded section of the nice new one. So just going to give this a little bit of a clean up, plonk it in there, put the circlip in, dab of grease, then off we go. I have noticed, however, that on the casting, the old one is it's a 5/8, and the new one is a 3/4. So yeah, I don't think that will make a difference. I mean, that means the new one's going to be pushing a bit more fluid, doesn't it? And I have got that maths right, because 3/4 would be 6/8. So obviously, fucking hell, Ollie, don't be so stupid. Yeah, so I'm going to be moving more fluid for the same amount of pedal, which is good, because this always was quite a low biting point. So I don't know, maybe that was the clutch wearing out, but I haven't got much of a choice because I bought this years ago, so I can't turn it back. Got to proceed. So I'll get this plopped in and then back in the car. What are we putting in? .4. Now, this is old. This stuff has been open a little while, but I'm not that fussed because I'm going to flush it through at least twice. I don't want any traces of any shite left in. And then the last fill and flush I will do with my new big bottle. Right, I'll get this connected up and we'll get this bled through. Alright, that's the clutch done. We have a pedal, it's all bled. It's just got to top the reservoir up, and you know what, I'm just going to use this older stuff for now.
waste not, want not, and we will no doubt rebleed the system once it comes back from its tune, get it all roadworthy. And as I was saying to the lovely man in the Bedford, I'm going to get it MOT'd. I don't have to, but I think it's wise. I mean, obviously everyone who's been watching this will know that I definitely need someone auditing my work, but also it's just peace of mind that, you know, the car is right and it's not dangerous in any way. So yeah, going to crack on and get that done, and we'll take things from there. But whilst I'm here, some of the bits that did actually arrive were these takeoffs, which I can then tie on, and then that'll be a lovely takeoff for the vacuum, which will go over to the map sensor, which is mounted over there. So yeah, none of the wires arrived that I ordered on Monday, and the silicone hose didn't arrive either. So let me see if I can get this in and give it a zip tie. And there we go, fitted. I'm going to put a zip tie around that, and before anyone asks, I didn't use silicone spray to lubricate it, which is my usual trick, but I did think, seeing as it's going into a map sensor, is that going to light silicone? No, it's probably not going to light silicone at all, so no silicone. Right, in 2 shakes of lamb's tail, these will be on. Kaboom, there we go. And then once my vacuum hose arrives, I can route that around to there, and that will be the map sensor done. But pressing thing at hand is the brakes. Well, I ended up going properly round the houses with this, bleeding brakes, taking them off, then trying to bleed the next one, and realising that with an open pipe in the circuit it wouldn't work, so I had to put them all back on. But the long and short of it is, I was rambling on, so I'll save you the bother of listening to that. I got all the calipers off, got the master cylinder off, and I'm going to take them over to my uncle's garage, and I'm going to get him to reseal the whole lot, and yeah, I will then put them back on, hopefully on Friday, and we should be back where we were last week, which is always hilarious. So I thought it best to round out the day. What have we got here? Front and rear brake calipers and the master cylinder. I have tried to pop the pistons out of this one here, but they're quite well stuck. So I'm going to drop these off at my uncle's place, get him to do these, just because they are brakes and I don't fancy it. So they should be done, ready to go on this time next week. But the clutch is all done, that's all buttoned up, and then I reckon it shouldn't be more than an hour to get the brakes done. I've been around them enough times now. The workshop, the garage is a shit tip again, by the way, obviously. So yeah, I still didn't get the fucking drain plug. I think that's it down there. You see it? Yeah. There. That. I think that's what I need to take out, but if I'm going to drain it, I'm going to need it outside, so I'm going to need the wheels back on. So it's going to be a case of brakes back on and brakes bled, wiring for the no-dis once that arrives. Then I've got to put all this back together, test the electrics. Once all of that works, dashboard in, steering wheel in, and then we can put the seats back. Slowly but surely. Right, catch you next week. Yay.